Hey everybody, welcome, and thank you for listening to this episode of Marriage Therapy Radio. My name is Zach Riddle. I'm here with Laura Heck. We have a little bit of a mixed bag today. We have a conversation that meanders a little bit. We go over some things that feel topical to me, like they're kind of current events that are on my mind and feel relevant to the time. So that's kind of fun. We have a very big announcement about halfway through the episode that we're excited to share with you, and are going to let you know how you can be involved, which includes inviting you to be a part of our Patreon community. We are waking that up right now as a little bit of a summer campaign in anticipation of our big announcement and some other priorities that we're having. And we're really excited about it. It's going to be kind of fun. You can visit that by, finding us at Patreon or just going to marriagetherapyradio.com and letting us know how to connect with you there. Pretty cool announcement. We're very excited to share with you, which we're about to do in just a second. This is a very cool conversation. Stick around.
Did I tell you why I couldn't record today?
You didn't.
I'm doing it's called Ladies All Ride.
Okay.
And it's a camp just for like adult women.
Uh-huh.
And I'm learning how to mountain bike.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a culture. Like, it's definitely a very different scene, even from like road cyclists, different scene, mountain bike ladies, totally different scene, but it's bringing together all of these women. It's run by women. It's coached by women. You learn like even like technical skills of like bike tech and all of that by women. It's just such a cool organization. And I was shocked. I understand Bend is one of those places where people come as a destination, but there's women from all over the country that have come here to take this camp. It's pretty incredible. So
okay.
It was one of those things where
Did
they
it get
said,
canceled?
No. Why did it? Oh, because I'm here today?
Yeah.
No, it's just that they had to move the location due to smoke in Bend, and the location is a mile from my house now. And so I bought myself time.
Nice.
And so now I can record this morning. I know.
I don't have to do it on the weekend. That's so good.
Oh, so we don't have to meet this weekend.
I mean, we still could. We got a lot of catch up to do because you're going like all over the world. You're going to
I know.
Going away for like 3 weeks. So
yeah,
we have to like stack them up.
Yeah, you're right. It is kind of like 3 weeks. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to London and Greece and Rome.
Cool.
And I'm so pumped. Yeah.
We have, I did something a couple weeks ago that was like so bougie. Like the story I'm about to tell you is so bougie. Like I'm almost embarrassed about how bougie this story is because I'm not a bougie person.
By the way, I'm surprised you're using the word bougie because that's actually an incorrect use of the word bougie.
But do you know what I mean?
It's true. But do you know what the original context of bougie means? Like what it was in its original form?
Please give me a history lesson right now.
Like middle class, like run of the mill middle class. So when people say bougie, we all assume that we're talking about what? Something that's like really high class.
Super fancy people, yeah. Okay.
So that's your the more you know moment.
Yeah, right on.
To look at the OG.
We decided about a while ago that we wanted to take the girls on a trip when they graduated. So Mary will graduate from high school, Abby will graduate from college next summer. And so we were thinking we want to take them on a trip. And we selected as a family to go to like the Mediterranean, Greece and Rome, or Greece and Italy,
Okay.
That's the backdrop of the story. A couple weeks ago, we were in California for this wedding, and we were walking around and we like peeked into these art galleries, and we found this piece of art that we like super fell in love with. We were like, we love this. We want to hang this in our house. So for Mother's Day, I was like, I'm going to buy this painting for Rebecca. But I also knew I was going to get in trouble if I bought the painting without getting permission, because it was not an inexpensive painting. And so I gave her a picture of it for Mother's Day, and then we had a whole talk, like the whole day. And we ultimately decided,
picture like, I would like to get this for you for Mother's Day.
No. It was in the card. It was like a printout of the painting that I had gotten from the lady at the gallery. So it insinuated, yes, this is what I'd like to give you for Mother's Day. Okay. Then we had a long talk about it. And this is the end of the story though. This is the bougie part. We decided not to buy a painting so that we could save for our Mediterranean trip next summer. Like, I never thought I would be a person who was like, we almost bought this piece of art to hang in our house, but instead we allocated the funds to our European vacation next summer, It
also makes you sound smart.
I'll add this one part. I
Yes.
think the coolest thing we did for Mother's Day was spend the day talking about that decision and the pros and cons and the cost, not just simply the financial cost, but like, are we people who spend money on discretionary things like art? Are we ready to be those people? Are we people who would rather make, like, we also decided we didn't want to make we're going to pay down the house with this discretionary money that we would have like we had a really long, about 12-hour conversation about, I mean, it wasn't 12 in a row, but it was like in the morning, and then in the afternoon we talked a little bit more, and then we checked in later, and then we went to dinner and we had a whole dinner conversation about it. And ultimately we decided to pass on this decision, which actually was the coolest gift to our marriage and to each other and to her, because, as much as I was like, yeah, I'm going to buy a painting, she was like, I really don't know if that's what I want to do. So at the end of the day, we didn't buy a painting so that we could go to Europe, but it was, I think it was ultimately a really cool process that we went through together.
It's funny that you're talking about this, because I've had several couples in my practice where all we have done is picked one issue that they want to talk through, a decision that they want to make. And we just come up with a conclusion, like there's resolution. We've gotten to the place, I've been using this a lot actually, is you brought it obviously because it has 3 Ds of dreaming, discussing, deciding. We have been in the dreaming phase, we've been in the discussion phase, and I have finally moved with several couples into the deciding phase. And those are some of the funnest conversations, because these couples have decided, okay, Laura, today we are ready to decide. We've gotten to the place where we've heard each other, we understand each other, we have empathy, and now we're ready to make that decision. And their feeling of progress as a couple has shifted, because they're able to say, we went to therapy, we made some really serious decisions that impacted the future of our family, the future of our relationship, all of that, because we made some decisions. And I don't know, it just feels really good. Like sometimes people are really happy with just building understanding, but I would say the majority of my couples are like, what the hell are we doing with all this understanding? Like, when do we get to the decision-making piece?
No, I think that's a really good point. Yeah.
Yeah. But it definitely feels like there's a sense of finale in the relationship, finale between the two of them, when they're able to say, this is no longer something that is a barrier between us. It's now something that's in our past, and now we're moving forward.
Yeah, I feel like that sometimes. There's a handful of things I want to talk about today. They're all topical. And while we're in the neighborhood of this, there's 2 little branches I want to take on. One is, can we just speak very quickly to Mother's Day? We're recording this the Thursday after Mother's Day. And this is always a unique week in my practice, because it's the week that all these couples come in and she's really angry about the way that he pulled off Mother's Day. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, I know we should have recorded this before Mother's Day, what I'm about to tell you guys, but let me tell you, can I just tell you, men who are married to mothers, or women who are married to mothers, or I guess that would make you both mothers, whatever.
And if you have
don't
a mother,
get to decide whether or not Mother's Day is important. You are not the decider. She is the decider.
Yeah.
So I've seen all these like little TikTok memes about like, oh, you're not my mother. Why would I celebrate you? You're not my mother. Or we don't do Mother's Day unless you have little kids. Or it's silly, the silliest stuff, because it's like, it's playing for laughs or whatever. But just at the end of the day, just appreciate, it's not you don't get to decide. If she cares about Mother's Day, you have to care about Mother's Day. If she doesn't care about Mother's Day, you don't have to care about Mother's Day. But that's not your thing. So just tuck that in your pocket for next year, because I have spent a lot of time this week talking about guys who blew Mother's Day, and then they had their little excuses, and I had to tell them, you don't get to decide. So that's a thing I wanted to say.
I like that. This is the second time that I've had this conversation with my husband, where it was Mother's Day. I hosted a fundraiser here for the Cascade School of Music on Mother's Day. We did Mother's Day bingo. It was awesome. But that was my focus for the day, was doing that. And I'm trying to get out the door, trying to rally my husband to figure out those things. And he's like, I can't leave until 9 a.m. And I'm like, buddy, I need you to be where I need you to be at 9 a.m. because that's when bingo starts. And he said, the store doesn't open until 9. So what I heard was, I didn't plan ahead for Mother's Day, and now it's Mother's Day morning at 9 a.m. and I have to go and get you a gift because I didn't plan ahead. That is my biggest pet peeve. And I just want to correct, like, if I was to learn anything from this situation is my husband wanted me to feel special. I got that. He wanted me to know that it was something important that he wanted to celebrate, but he didn't think about it until the morning of. So if you are listening, I want you to go into your calendar and literally 2 weeks in advance from Mother's Day next year and from your wife's birthday next year or your husband's birthday, put it in your calendar. Buy gift now. That is your new deadline because we are all procrastinators.
Or you don't have to put buy gift now. Just put ask her what she would like to have happen on Mother's Day.
Yes. And because for me, it's like it's the thought that counts. It's not what the end result is. It's the intention. And if the intention completely was like, yeah, I just got to last minute go pick you up. I went to the grocery store, Safeway, Mother's Day morning at like 7:30 in the morning.
20 guys in the card aisle.
It was all men. It racked me up. I've never seen the grocery store filled with so many men.
Oh my God.
But I was
guys, it's not hard. It's not hard, you guys.
No, but just put it in your calendar. Save yourself like this moment, pull your vehicle over, stop your walk, whatever it might be. And because I know that we have a lot of female listeners, do this also for Father's Day. Do it for your husband's birthday, like all the things. Just plan ahead 2 weeks in advance. All right. Okay. That's our public service announcement for the day.
Okay. Second topical thing I'd like to talk about. Did you see the Northern Lights?
I did not.
Okay.
Did you see the Northern Lights?
I did not. And I was like super bummed about it. It was 2 nights here in Seattle. They were crystal clear.
Conspiracy that people were just posting the Northern Lights and they're
here's what I've learned. I learned a couple things. Number one is it was way easier to see them with a camera than with your eyes. Like with your phone, you could see them better than with your face. So I was like looking with my face the whole time because I wanted this pure experience. I wanted the pure experience of looking up into the night sky. And I just couldn't find them. My daughter found them and she had the most amazing experience. This is one of the things you're supposed to do before you die, by the way. See the Northern Lights, right? Like it's like a thing.
It's a bucket list item.
Yeah, at least it was for me. So super disappointed about not seeing them. But I had a revelation about myself. And this goes back to the thing you were saying a little bit earlier about all this understanding. What do we do with all this understanding? So the first night I drove to a couple different spots and I tried to find some darkness and some privacy. Couldn't find any. Didn't see them. Got bummed. Went home.
What time at night did you
still
drive around?
I'm driving around like 11:30, 12 o'clock. So
which you can do because you're a total night owl.
Yeah, totally. So the next night, Rebecca and I make plans. We make plans to go. We're going to go find these things. We're going to go to this park. We're going to go to this one park that is like kind of a good little park. And it's usually pretty, it's a family park. There's a beach there. There's a playground. I go to this park at like 11:30, maybe 12 o'clock Saturday night. I've never seen it more crowded. Literally, it's the most crowded it's ever been. Like middle of the summer day, not as crowded as the middle of the night for the Northern Lights. I get out of my car and I am immediately overwhelmed with anxiety because there's too many people. Also, I don't know what I'm looking for. Also, how am I going to get out of here when it's over? Like I'm going to drive out of here. So I had this realization that like, I got to leave. I can't stay here. Like I'm going to have a panic attack or I'm going to have an anxiety attack. And so this is my point. I realized that I have all this understanding about myself and I used it to make a decision that was healthy in spite of how close I was to this bucket list item. And I just turned to Rebecca and I was like, I gotta go. I gotta go. I have to leave right now. And so we left. My daughter asked me a little bit ago, she said, what's your dream concert? Like, what's the concert you really want to see? And I realized like, it's not a band, it's the setting. I need to be in, like, I almost don't care what the band is. Is it the right setting and the right environment? Because Red Rocks is actually really high on my list, but it still would have to be like,
go see a concert,
but I would still have to like be there early, probably on a VIP package of some sort where I had a special seat that was mine that I knew about, not like clamoring to get in. And maybe I'm going to be on the 55th row or I sound bougie, but my point is I've had a couple of experiences lately where I'm leveraging all of this understanding, this like internal understanding that I have.
And it only took how many years? 50 years to get there?
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, otherwise I would have been like, I'm staying here. I'm not leaving until I see this. And it would have cost me so much in terms of like sanity and time.
I have so much to say about that.
Great. Well, I want to hear about it.
Okay. Because the whole concept of like listening to your body and then making a decision that might make Rebecca uncomfortable. It might put her in an uncomfortable situation where maybe she's disappointed. But I think like we get to an age where finally we decide that we're worth it to listen to our body and to make a decision that's best for us. And I don't know if this is a female thing or a male thing. I mean, you tell me if there is like a gender difference, a cultural difference between deciding that I'm going to make a decision right now that I'm going to listen to my body and do what's best for me, even if it puts somebody else in an uncomfortable situation, even if I don't get to achieve that thing that I'm trying to achieve, whatever it might be. But I do think that there is like an age shift. I think there's probably a cultural difference between when we decide that we are enough to decide like to listen to ourselves and our needs in those moments.
And I think somewhere along the way
you decided.
Yeah. And I think we have to understand that that is information. This is a big thing for me lately too. Like it's just information. When I said to Rebecca, I got to get out of here. If she had said, no, I really need to stay, I would have been like, okay, but I got to like, you need to know that I can't be here anymore. Get out of, we got to go. You know, like there was this awareness that I wasn't declaring something as law. I was saying, this is information. I had another experience like this that actually has been like, I'm a little hesitant to talk about this because I don't want to go into it too many details, but like I was with a friend a while back and we were listening to music. We're playing music for each other and we were playing songs and I would be like, oh, this lyric makes me cry. And, you know, and then we'd play another song and then she'd play a song and then I'd play a song. I go, oh, I can feel it in my throat right now. And like the same, I was like maybe 4 or 5 songs. And we were just talking about music that moved us. And she was like, Zach, it's the same lyric every time. And I was like, what do you mean? She goes, every time you tell me about the lyric that makes you cry, it's the same central theme. It's about the same thing. Yeah. And I was like, huh, well, that's new information. And I went back and I listened and since then I've been listening to other songs. I can actually feel it in my face right now. And I'm like, there's something for me in that message, in that theme that I was like, I finally told Rebecca, I was like, hey, you need to hear about this because there's something about this that affects the way I move through the world. It affects the way I relate to her. It affects the way I relate probably to you. It affects the way that I relate to my kids and my, you know, myself. And, you know, here comes all this awareness. Are you going to share what the lyric is? Well, see, this is the thing I didn't really want to talk about. Like, is it because it might bring up emotion? Maybe, or maybe I'm just not, I don't know enough about it but you know, I talked to Sarah about it, my therapist, but my point is I have all this information coming into me about awareness and self-knowledge. And I don't know yet where that's supposed to go or what I'm supposed to do with that, other than that I'm like paying attention to it everywhere right now. But basically, I just, to your point, when we do all this self-work relationally inside the marriage, personally inside of ourselves, you know, it brings us to this, okay, now what? Okay, now what? You know, now we got to make some decisions. What do you do? You know? Totally. So I have a question about this thing go ahead. But here's my question. You doing this work with your clients around decision-making, what is it? Like, what are you doing with them? Like, what is the thing that you're bringing to the table that they don't have access to without you? Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think first of all, we jump to making decisions before we have had a chance to actually discuss. And discussion is, why don't you tell me what your dream is? Why don't you tell me what your hopes are? Why don't you help me understand your point of view? So when couples come to me, there's a lot of decisions that they've been trying to make and then they get into gridlock. And so I slow everything down and I tease it out and I say, let's just kind of like on a whiteboard, let's create our can of worms or whatever it might be, right? Like, what are all the topics, decisions that we're trying to make that we are currently in gridlock?
And then we go backwards and we say, we are not ready to make any decisions about any of these, but we're going to pick one topic. And what I want us to do is start with dreaming. And dreaming is non-judgmental and it's limitless. It is a place where you are able to say, I know that this probably isn't based in any sort of reality or logic. I don't even think if it's even possible. I don't know how we're going to get to this place, but this is the dream that I have. And when we're able to do that, I think that is something that really brings couples together. That's probably like, okay, first we're at gridlock because we're trying to make a decision. Then
and you can turn off your judgmental brain.
Exactly. And I had a couple come to me and they said, normally dreaming is really connecting for us. Normally when we, go out on a date night and we start to dream about our future and we don't allow ourselves to get bogged down into any sort of conversations related to the kids or related to like taxes or anything like that. We just dream. Where do we want to retire in 40 years? And they said it was very disconnecting because every time I start dreaming, my partner still has their logical brain on and they shut everything down and they are playing devil's advocate and they're pointing out all of the ways in which this is impossible. And that is really misaligning. So I help couples understand what dreaming looks like. And anytime I'm facilitating a dreaming conversation, I'm helping them to understand how their brains are working. And it's very difficult for an analytical brain to be able to dream. In fact, sometimes it's uncomfortable for them. And so I'm facilitating a space where I can point out like, hey, let's turn that part of your brain off and let's dream a little bit. So it's a facilitation through the process. When you get to discussion, it's really about understanding your partner's point of view and developing more empathy for them so that you're able to move closer toward helping them to achieve their dream. Once you feel fully understood and your partner understands and you understand your partner's position, then we can get to deciding. We can get to a place where it's like, how can we move to some kind of an agreement that feels like a win-win for both of us? So that's something that
and when I talk about that too, I think a big part of the deciding process is before you start that process, you got to agree, how is the decision getting made? Are we making this decision by, are we voting or is it somebody, are we choosing based on like a spreadsheet, or is it your turn? How do we, because if you don't even agree how the decision's getting made, you have to have that negotiation first, are we going to arm wrestle? True. And that person is, so I don't know, there's lots of complicated parts of the puzzle, but yeah, I do think there's real wisdom in parsing it out and making sure that you kind of agree that we're done with or rather that we're moving deliberately into the decision-making phase. And, back to say the decision about whether or not to leave this park in the middle of the night, Rebecca may have wanted to stay and I may have wanted to go, but I was definitely feeling like I needed to leave at like a 10 or like an 8, 9, 10. And she was definitely feeling like she wanted to stay at like a 5, 6, 7, maybe 8.
Sure.
And so, embedded in our decision-making process from time to time is who feels stronger about this, With the painting decision, we really just like kind of went back and forth. Although this wasn't explicit, the way we ended up making the decision was I just sort of said, it sounds like the energy is around not making this decision, like not buying this painting. And she goes, that feels good to me too. And I said, okay. And it wasn't terribly satisfying for each one of us, but in that case, we were making a decision based on the energy that we both honored,
Yeah.
It would have been easy to make that a spreadsheet decision. what's the wisest thing to do with our money? No brainer, Right. Eliminate 6% of interest on your mortgage, blah, 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 blah,
Well, the piece that you were talking about too with you is like, it feels like a 10 to me and it feels like maybe a 4. And for me, it seems like Rebecca was willing to value your safety and comfort over her desire to check something off of her bucket list.
She wanted to go to bed too, so there was that.
So she was also just tired. Yeah.
She's like, okay, I can go to bed.
I'm going to make a hard transition because I just thought of something pretty darn exciting. 2 things that are exciting. We're going a little out of order because if you've been following Zach and myself for a while, you know that we usually catch up first, then we get to some kind of meat and potatoes.
Okay.
We're going to circle back to catching up just for a second.
Okay.
Number 1, I think our book is going to be great. I really do. I showed Ryan like the second version of the book. Now it's sort of formatted in a way where we can kind of see the exercises, and he looked at it and goes, "This is good." I was like, "Yeah, I think it is." And I wanted to tell you why I think it's good.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
First of all, we have been pretty shy about talking about this for a while, but what Laura's talking about is
we haven't told
wrote
them
a
that
book.
we're we wrote a book. Oh. Well, guys, we wrote a book. We wrote a book,
and we've been pretty close to the vest about it, in part because it's been a labor and it's taken a very long time for us to coordinate and collaborate with each other and with the publisher. But we just got our PDF yesterday, so we just got a copy yesterday of the book for our kind of final approval. And you're right, it is exciting. It is very exciting to look at and to kind of, I showed it to Rebecca too, and I'm glad you brought it up. It is what I wanted to talk about, the other topical thing I wanted to talk about.
Oh, interesting.
It's coming out on September 10th, and we will have a lot more information about it as we go, but you were going to tell me a story about your experience with Ryan.
Well, no, I mean, I was just thinking.
Oh, you were going to tell me why it was going to be great. Sorry.
Yeah, here's what he said. Looking at the book, not knowing kind of what it is he said, this is going to be very manageable for people. And I was like, oh, that's so great. He said,
that's our goal.
There is like really bite-sized nuggets of wisdom that very quickly moves you into, now what do I do with it? So kind of like what we were just talking about of, I have insight. I just gained some information. Now what do I do? And that is 100% what our book does, is that you don't have to slog through, like a 300-page book on vacation and then say, okay, now I have all this information. Now how do I apply it? It's literally like, we're going to give you a page of information, maybe two, and then you're going to apply it. And I just love how quick it is. It's very much so a didactical, exercise-based.
For the two of you.
Yes. And the fact that he saw it and recognized it almost immediately, I was like, yes, it's a book for the ADD. It's a book for like I've got 90 seconds to understand what concept you want me to learn, and now I need to apply it. And I was like, you get it. It's great.
Cool. Yeah. Again, we'll come out, you guys, with a lot more information. We'll probably have a whole little launch series. What I can tell you in the short term is that ultimately it's a book about curiosity. And it's a book about conversation. Those are two really, really high values that Laura and I have. And we divided and conquered. Like, the cool thing about it was that we both leaned into our strengths. So I got to write and kind of be a poet and be sort of literary. And Laura got to lean into some of her skills around being, practical and kind of boots on the ground application stuff. And it came together real, real nice. So again, I wanted to say this part. Because we're new at this, kind of figuring out how to launch a book, the number one place that you can go to get information about that is going to be on our Patreon. You don't have to pay any money to go to Patreon, but if you go to the Marriage Therapy Radio Patreon and just make sure that we have your information, you will be on the front edge of learning about published dates and learning about, anything that would go along with it. So that is our new effort, especially over the summer, just to make sure that we can launch effectively and, become rich and famous and go on Good Morning America and do all that other stuff that we're supposed to do.
100%.
It's the Marriage Therapy Radio Patreon. Go just kind of get going. If you're inclined to choose one of the tiers that is a payment tier, that would be fantastic. It would really, really help us keep the lights on. But mostly we want to make sure that you're in the know. And the best way to do that at a formal level is to make sure we have your email address there.
Cool. You also said something. You said getting ready to launch. And I wanted to, I just needed to give you a little bit of a follow-up. So did I tell you that we met with Make-A-Wish for Holden?
You did not tell me you made Okay, new topic? This is fine.
New topic.
Okay, cool. New topic.
We're bouncing around. New topic.
We're going,
okay. So we met with Make-A-Wish. One, I've kind of like got pulled back a little bit into like the emotion of Holden's diagnosis. So I'm hoping I can kind of get through this a little bit. Breathe. Okay. It's funny.
Let me tell you about my song lyrics.
Oh gosh. So we met with Make-A-Wish. They want to know, like, what's your wish? And Holden threw something out there. And I love this because kids are pretty cool in that they dream sort of like non-judgmentally without any kind of boundaries. He said, well, I think I'd like to go to space and experience weightlessness. And I'm like, cool, dude. That's great. Go ahead. And these people were like, are you sure you don't want to go to Disneyland? Like, that's easy. We can check that one off the box. Oh, Taylor Swift. That would have been a good one. I didn't even think of that. He's not a T Swift fan. I did mention something about Jake Gyllenhaal, and I was like, maybe we could go backstage for Jake Gyllenhaal in New York and see some of his new plays coming up. And they're like, yeah, we're trying to keep it where it's the kids' wish. I was like, yeah, fine.
Funny story about Jake Gyllenhaal real quick. Mary's reading Great Gatsby, and I bought her the audiobook so she could kind of listen to it while she reads it. And she's like, I love this audiobook. She's like, this audiobook is great. I love it. And I was like, it's Jake Gyllenhaal. And she was like, what? Because now she's mad that she likes Jake Gyllenhaal because she's not supposed to like Jake Gyllenhaal because Taylor Swift doesn't. Whatever. I don't even know the rules anymore. But but now she likes Jake Gyllenhaal.
Well, I'm almost certain that this family is going to be listening to. It's going to be, it's going to rev my engine. My husband's going to be like, you sure you don't want to listen to like just 10, 15 minutes of Great Gatsby tonight just to see what happens? Anyway, you do what you got to do. So they just got back to me, and apparently you can't go into space. You have to be 16 or 18 or whatever kind of rules, but leaving out of Florida is an airplane. And what they do is they take off really fast, or they climb and then they drop really fast, and the feeling of weightlessness, you get it for like 15 seconds or something.
Okay.
And they do that like 8 times.
Okay.
And they look at me and they're like, well, Mom, you guys prepared to do this with your 9-year-old son? And I was just like, are you freaking kidding me, Holden? Like, this sounds like a puke fest to me. Yeah. And I was just imagining, space puke floating through the air.
Cool.
While yeah. So I'm almost certain that is the number one choice that they're shooting for. And then the second one, Holden wanted to ski. I think speaking of bougie as an incorrectly used word, but at Jackson Hole. So we'll see if we end up going skiing for a week in Jackson Hole, or if I end up puking 8 times in weightlessness. So we'll see. But that's the update on Holden's Make-A-Wish.
Right on. Well, that's all really cool stuff. I'm glad that's happening. I mean, I'm glad he's gonna be on Make-A-Wish. That doesn't sound like the best thing that you should, but I'm glad you guys are leaning into this experience as optimistically and positively as possible.
Yeah. And I do have to say, because our listeners who have donated, many of you have donated, a huge thank you, by the way. One of the things that I'm doing is running for what's called the NF Endurance Team. I'll be doing the New York Marathon in November. And I just met on a phone call yesterday with the entire team that is nationwide. And I have raised $14,000 to this point.
How much did you try to raise? How much did you want to raise?
I want to raise 20,000, and I have until November.
What was your original goal? Wasn't it only 10?
4,000.
4. It's amazing.
So I'm absolutely crushing it. The rest of the folks that were on the call were kind of in the 2 to 3 range. They're trying to hit 3 or 4,000. I'm trying to hit 20,000. So I just want to say thank you to our listeners. There's several of you that have reached out personally and sent messages. So I so appreciate that. But it continues. And that's the end of that. Right you have to get to work because you have clients coming up. I have to get to Lady Camp.
Bike riding. Yeah.
I'm going to go ride some bikes, and hopefully I'm going to keep all my skin today. That is the game plan.
Yeah. Good luck. And if you lose it, you can use your OneSkin that I sent you. Did I send you OneSkin?
Okay. Yes. Okay. So here's the deal. So OneSkin is a sponsor of ours, and I started using their product. I had to wait until, as ladies, like, you don't like to mix your products. So I ran out of all of my original product. Yeah. And then I started using OneSkin, got obsessed. Then I started texting you obnoxiously, and I was like, hey, do you have any OneSkin? I felt like I was like looking for drugs.
Yeah.
I need that OneSkin. Can you send me that box of OneSkin?
Yeah.
So I'm really liking their product, and that is not just me saying that. The other product is Lumi. I have been obsessed with Lumi, the deodorant. And Nutrafol. Like, people keep sending us stuff to promote, and then now I'm the lifetime subscriber that just keeps buying from them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Anyway.
that's the deal. I mean, we use it. I mean, you're using it, which is great. They haven't sent me anything like super comic booky or spaceshipy yet. You know, if they sent me
It's
some
like
subscription
related
to
to
like
you.
comic books, I'd be like, you guys, I got all of these cool, you know, I love that you love our products, and I hope that you're using them. I hope people will use them and buy them, because when you buy products using our codes, that helps us keep the lights on. Don't forget to check out Patreon, because that's where, again, you can support the podcast and also make sure that we have your information to let you know about the book and how that's going to roll out. And I think that's all I got for today.
Yeah, let's land the plane. I gotta go do things. You have to work. I'm gonna ride bikes. Sayonara. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Marriage Therapy Radio. I mentioned a couple of products that I have been using and absolutely loving. OneSkin. My husband stole my first bundle of OneSkin, so now I had to go and borrow Zach's. So if you are curious about OneSkin, go to their website. It's oneskin.co. And then our code is MTR, and you can take 15% off, which is a significant amount when you are purchasing bundles, which is what I did for my eyes. And then also they have this amazing moisturizer that I'm obsessed with. And then the other one is Lumi deodorant. Lumi deodorant is like this all natural deodorant. Yes, it is for women, but they also have for men. They have these male scents as well. And I've started using a cream deodorant, which I just put a little bit onto my fingertips and then I rub it anywhere where I need to deodorize. So you can check out Lumi deodorant. It's Lumi, Lume deodorant.com, code MTR, and you save a significant amount on their bundles as well. Thanks for all of your time and attention, making your relationship better today than it was yesterday.